Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either learn from the market or to just make money in the market, right? So let me go ahead and give my disclaimer, y'all. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth, and the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, y'all, let's get started. So we are looking at the VIX, and as you can see, y'all, we hit an all-time low of 1191 on Friday, which is very interesting, right? But today it seems like it gapped up just a little bit, got rejected at this 20 EMA. So right now we're just resting right here at the 5 EMA, and it is creating a gathering spot for us at the 1218 range. So our trouble places as of right now, excuse me, is the 1218, which is our 5 EMA, and the 20 EMA, which is right here at the 1224. If we break above, to the upside, or, we can go down, but if we break to the upside, it looks as if we're going to have trouble right here at 1227, 1231, 1236, which brings us right at this ATR trailing stop at 1238. And I would watch those levels. 1244 brings us to the 50 EMA at 1252. So watching the VIX to the upside, if it should break to the upside, which will in turn cause the SPY to normally go to the downside, I would watch those areas. Keep in mind, if we break under, this 1218, we could very well come back and retest this 1191. So I would say trade carefully today. And looking at the SPY is interesting, right? Because it made an all-time high. Right now we're trading in this zone, and I always say the no trade zone, right? So our support is right at the 530.25, and our resistance is at 530.37, which is not far. Or it did test this 530.44, but as you can see, price came back down in that zone. So I would say definitely trade carefully today. SPY is right at the 5 EMA. It's finding support at the 5 EMA at 530.24. So I would watch that level. If we break that, which we very well can, we can come back and test the 530.11. So keep in mind that we also had another gathering spot that was being created for us at the 4 o'clock range. It started at 529.91. So my levels to watch for the SPY is if we break the 5 EMA right now and under the 530.11, we could come back and retest this 529.91. Below the 529.91, we could very well come down to the 529.81. Under that puts us at, we could come back and test 529.71. And then, 529.55, which brings us close to the 529.50, which is the ATR trailing stop. So looking at it on this 30-minute chart, it just looks like we're going sideways. So again, I always say let the market, give you a direction as to which way it wants to move. Don't jump into your trades. Don't rush into your trades right now. Just know that, we could very well continue climbing. It wouldn't surprise me to see it go back to the downside because it did reach a new high, and, we just stayed at that level. And I always say we need a cool off period, in my opinion. And I know it came back down to the 528, but the SPY normally moves on average 464, and looking at it on this daily chart, we have been, moving to the upside. There are some small gaps that need to be filled to the downside. So I always say y'all trade what you see. Looking at it on the daily chart, support is at 526.60. So we could very well come back down to that range. Again, trade what you see. So let's look at Tesla. Tesla is interesting. It is an inside week candle. So as of right now, our support area was at 177.70 and resistance 178.17. Now we have broken out of that and we are above the 5 EMA. So I would watch Tesla. 178.25 is our support on the 5 EMA. It did make a high of 178.79. Normally I mark that as a pre-market high because we got rejected there. The next time we come back to this area, we could very well break through that area, right? So I would definitely watch the 178.80 range for Tesla. However, if we, break under this 178.17, which it looks like it's, that's our support right now. If we break under that, it can come back and retest this 177.74, which puts us, right at the 20 EMA 177.74. So we have that, to me, is strong support, and right up under that 177.60 is where we had a previous support level. So that 177.60, 177.70 area is a strong support area for Tesla. If we should break to the downside from there, then we could very well come back down and retest the 176.84, which brings us closer to the ATR trailing stop at 176.48. And our 200 EMA, looking at it on this 30-minute chart, is at 175.49. So just keep in mind, Tesla could very well, move how Tesla moves. That's all. Tesla moves very interesting if you've been trading the stock or watching the stock, right? So right now on the 1 hour chart, it kind of looks like the 30-minute chart, in my opinion, that 170, 110 and the 176.03 and 174.90. Those are areas that, if it should come back to the downside. So I did mention that Tesla is an inside week candle. That means on a weekly basis, this will be the target. If we break above 180, then the target to the upside is 187.56. If we break below the 169 area, then our weekly target for Tesla will be at the 167.91. And it is possible because, again, Tesla moves on average now about $6.80 per day. And looking at it from this, Tesla it's been creating kind of like a gathering spot. So it seems as if it wants to move in either direction. I always say, y'all, trade carefully. Don't rush into them trades. And, when it goes against your why, get out, right? So let's look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA has been moving pretty much sideways. The pre-market, we had a high of 939.20 and a low of 935.89. So that is our support and our resistance. That's our range right now. So 935.89, 939.20. That's what I would say a no trade zone for me. It will need to break above that or below that in order for me to, and make sure that you have confirmation as to why you're entering your trades, right? So if right now it's under the 5 EMA, and that 935.89 brings us really close to this 50 EMA at 935.11. So if we break 935.11, I would watch the 934.09, which is the 20 EMA. So breaking below that brings us to 926.94, which is the ATR trailing stop, and 924.32, which is the 200 EMA. Looking at it again on the 30-minute chart, and NVIDIA moves on average $29.64. So anything is possible today, right? This is the 4-hour chart. Let's go to the 1 hour. The 1 hour is kind of close to the 30-minute chart, but looking at it from this, above the 939.20, we're going to have trouble at 944.91, which is the ATR trailing stop. What's interesting is we're really close to all of our moving averages looking at it on this 1 hour chart. So again, it can move in either direction. Just know that not to the upside, 944.91 is going to be a trouble place for us. So to the downside, it looks as if we came down and tested this 917.48. Because we came down, bounced off that, we could very well continue up or continue down. And, it's so hard to predict. Trade what you see. I can't say that enough. Trade what you see. Don't rush into your charts. But right now, that is our zone at the 935.89 and 939.20. And yeah, trade accordingly. Let me say that right. So we do have some inside day candles. AI is one of those. If AI breaks above 26.66, then our target to the upside is 26.73. If it breaks below $26, then 25.91 is our target. And as you can see, it has broken out of our gathering spot. So I had support marked at the 26.54 and resistance at 26.58, and we're breaking out of that. So we could very well come down and reach that downside target. Trade carefully, right? So Carvana is an inside week. That means this is a weekly target for Carvana. And if it breaks above 124.58, then 129 is the target. If it breaks below 112.72, if it breaks below 115.53, then 112.72 is our target, right? So right now we're just creating a gathering spot. I say trade carefully if you trade Carvana. CVS is an inside day candle, meaning if it breaks above, let's see, CVS is interesting. If it breaks above 56.87, then the target, if it breaks below 56.87, then the target is 56.29, and above 57.75, then it puts us right at 57.75 as the target. So CVS doesn't move as much, on average. So if you trade CVS, I always say trade carefully. Disney is another inside day candle, and above 103.82 gives a target of 104.06. Below 102.99 gives a target of 102.86. So those are a few inside day candles that we have. And I'm going to go to AMD, because AMD is AMD, just like Tesla in my opinion, right? So looking at the support for AMD pre-market, I have 165.66 as support, 166.16 as resistance. Right now we're trading under the 5 EMA. We're trying to find support here at this 20 EMA, which is at the 165.40 range. We could very well, drop from here or bounce from here, either direction, right? So if it decides to get rejected here and continue down, 164.59 is a support area for us. And then the next level of support is 162.78, and we have 160.49 or 160.56. So I would be careful in those areas if I traded AMD. Now to the upside, if it breaks above the 166.16, just know that the 167.25 is our ATR trailing stop. So we're going to have trouble in those places. And right now, looking at it on this 1 hour, we are definitely trading in this zone. And those places, again, it can move in either direction. So I would say trade carefully. Let's see, AMD normally moves $5.91 per day. That's something to be mindful of. It created a gathering spot for us here. And as you can see, we broke out of that to the upside. It looks like there's some gaps that need to be filled to the downside from 514 to 515. So I would watch that, and from 515 up to 516, there's gaps to the downside for AMD. So I would definitely watch that. On this one, on the daily chart, the 50 EMA, it bounced off that as support. So below 162.34, we could very well come down and start filling some of those gaps, possibly. Again, I always say, y'all, trade what you see. Don't rush into your trades. Allow your trades to come to you. So I'm going to go back to the SPY just to see where we are as of now. And looking at it on this 30-minute chart, we have broken out of under that 20 EMA, which is the 530.10 area, only to come down to the 529.91, which was another area of support. So it looks like the SPY got rejected at that 530.44, and we're under the 5 EMA. So again, it wouldn't surprise me to see a cool off today. Under the 529.91 again brings us back to the 529.80. So I will watch those areas, 529.50 for the SPY, and this lonely 200 EMA that's all the way down here at 527.52. It would not surprise me if we make our way back down to that little area, only because we have made a new high, but that does not necessarily mean that that's what's going to take place, right? So looking at Tesla is still kind of like moving in slow motion pre-market, right? So, and when the bell rings, anything is possible. It can be go time, and it just, everything shifts or everything changes. And we do these videos just to give an idea as to how the market is moving pre-market, right? So again, Tesla is finding that support right at the 5 EMA, which is right at the 178.24. Below that puts us under, we need to definitely watch that area. So I would say below, I would say below the 178 area, 178.04, Tesla could very well continue back to the downside, 177.74 or the 176.83. And again, anything can come, news can come out, anything is possible, y'all. Don't rush into your trades. Allow your trades to, give you confirmation as to why you're entering your trades. And when it goes against your why, get out. So I hope these videos are very, very helpful. So I do them just to see, this is what I see when I look at the market, right? And there's no right or wrong way. We all have our own way of trading, and it's just trying to come up with a strategic plan that works for you. And again, I hope these are helpful for you, y'all. So I hope that everyone have an awesome day today, y'all. It's a new day with another opportunity, right? So I always like to leave you with this. First, I hope that everyone have a productive day, a very prosperous day, and keep in mind, y'all, I always say be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.